I wake to the sound of my own birthday. Not music. Not fireworks. The island hums, turbines low and sleep-warm, waves slapping the volcanic steps I set by hand, drones in their little charging cradles like obedient fireflies. The whole place smells like salt and solder. I love it. I earned it. I'm 30 today. Yeah, 30, not ancient, bite me. And it still feels like I broke into the life I wanted and forgot to leave. Happy birthday to me, I mutter, rolling out of bed and straight into a floor stretch. My body pops like bubble wrap. I'm 1.8 meters, 55 kilos soaking wet, wiry as hell. The kind of strong that makes gym bros squint at the plates I move and then at my arms like the math's wrong. It's not magic. It's stubbornness and physics and a shitload of reps. My phone buzzes. 4 missed calls from Mom because, of course, Diana starts early. A text from Dad, Clark, the practical poet, reads, "Proud of you. Boat at 10? We'll bring the cake." Bruce, 4 years younger and infinitely louder, sent a photo of his middle finger with "to many more" written on it in frosting. Grandma Wendy, 1 hour away on the mainland, left a voice note, "Don't you dare forget sunscreen, boy. And I'm bringing the good olives." I grin, splash water on my face, and tell the mirror, "You made it, Danny. Say my name right. Not Daniel. Not Dan. If someone tries it today, I'll correct them with a smile and an unnecessary insult. Consider it my gift to myself. Breakfast is scrambled eggs, plantains, and the kind of coffee that slaps you into another tax bracket. I eat on the patio, looking at the water. 10 minutes at 40 knots, and I'm at my dock on the mainland. Another 50 minutes, and I can hug Wendy. I timed it 100 times like a lunatic, until the numbers felt like home. There's comfort in knowing your roots. The workshop calls. It always does. I rinse the plate, pad across warm stone, barefoot because I can, and unlock my favorite room with a palm scan and a muttered, "Open up, sweetheart." It smells like resin, machine oil, and dreams that accidentally worked. On the central table, an exo hand in polished steel with gold anodized accents, a tangle of fiber bundles that look like muscles until they move. The glove that drives it sits beside it, haptic mesh, my own design. Sensors so stupidly sensitive they make commercial ones feel like oven mitts. "Let's dance," I say. I slide the glove on, flex. The exo hand mirrors me, a beat after, precise enough to thread fishing line through a needle. I've been tuning it for months. It lifts a weighted bucket like it's being polite about mass. 70 kilos equivalent. 80. 90. It holds steady. It's not meant to be a superhero arm, fuck capes, but it's meant to be honest work, the kind of tool that makes fragile bodies less fragile. That contradiction, hating the limits of flesh but wanting to patch them, is the core rot and wonder in my head. I've always hated the meat. The human body is a beautiful, infuriating hack. It breaks, it bleeds, it forgets progress the second you blink wrong. It ages. Screw that. I want out. Not ghost in a server out. I want an immortal chassis that laughs at entropy and lets me build a world where the people I love never have to gamble with mortality. Heaven by engineering. Call it egotistical. You're not wrong. It's also love wearing a lab coat. I weld a bracket to the exo's forearm. The torch hisses alive. Arc blooms. I fall into that quiet you only get when metal and heat speak the same language. Then the world twitches. It's subtle at first, a pressure. The tiniest prickle in the air, like static flirting with your hair. I pause, lift the visor, glance around. The drones are sluggish on their rails, little LEDs blinking out of sync. The solar inverters hum in a key they've never hummed before. The island feels heavier? No, not heavy. Denser. Like someone turned up the resolution on reality and forgot to tell me. I say, brilliant as always. That's new. News chimes go off on my phone like it's auditioning for a fire alarm. I set the torch aside, peel the glove off, swipe open a headline cascade. Worldwide energy anomaly. Governments label it void energy. Sensors spike. Human abilities reported 40%. Internet flooded with videos, impossible feats or mass delusion. I tap one because of course I do. A grainy clip. A woman on a balcony steps off and floats back like she forgot gravity. Another, a kid puts his hand on a dead plant. It greens in seconds. Another, a guy screams and the windows around him powder into dust. Has to be bullshit. Except the scientists are blinking like they've been kissed against their will, and the agencies are saying the quiet part out loud. They don't know what the fuck this is. They're calling it void energy because humans name things to feel brave. 40%? I whisper. That's That's not a minority, that's a goddamn rewrite. A wave slaps the steps. The island groans like a cat settling again. I should call Mom. I should call everyone. Instead, I look at my hand, lift the visor, and, because I am an idiot, touch the bracket I just welded. It kisses my palm with hell. I yank back, cursing so loud the workshop is blasphemy for 10 seconds. Skin blisters bright and ugly, the way burns do, angry little balloons of pain. I hiss through my teeth, shuffle to the sink, run cold water, and mutter, "Nice one, birthday boy. Genius-level move. Welder's high, you absolute clown." The pain spikes, then slides, like someone turned a knob. I blink. The burn, red bubbled, relaxes under my eyes. It drains. You read that right. It drains, the way a fog lifts when wind remembers its job. The blisters settle, the skin pinks. It itches like mad, but itching is healing's little cousin. I stand there, palm under running water, and watch my body ignore injury like it got bored. I shut the tap. I stare. I touch the skin. Smooth. No scar. No heat. Like it never happened. Okay, I say, perfectly calm in a way that means I am absolutely not calm. What the actual fuck? I test it because I'm me. I take a small soldering iron, press the tip to my forearm, enough to leave a little devil's kiss. Pain. I flinch. I give it 10 seconds. The mark rises, angry and white-ringed. Then it fades. It's not placebo. It's not quick clotting or me underestimating damage. It's correction. It's an unseen system booting, whispering, "I saw that. Don't worry. You've got to be kidding me." I whisper, and then I laugh, and then I choke on the laugh because the news chirps again, and I'm suddenly very aware that 40% of the world just got something. My phone rings. Mom. Danny? Her voice is brisk and bright, battle nurse energy she never lost. "Are you seeing this nonsense on the news? I told Bruce to stay off the balcony. Your father says he saw a man run across the river. I think he's being dramatic. Are you safe on that island? Are the machines behaving? Did you eat?" "Hi to you too," I say, heart doing parkour. "I'm safe. The machines are singing in a weird key. And yeah, I'm watching. Looks real." "Real how?" "Real as in I burned my hand and it healed like a fucking time-lapse." Silence. Then, language. "Mom, focus." She breathes out. "Okay, so you might be one of the 40%. I don't know what I am." I look at my hand. "But I think I have to keep this quiet, because people are panicking," she says. "Yes, don't tell anyone except us. Come to the dock. 10 minutes, right? We'll meet you with Wendy. I'll bring bandages anyway. And cake." "Of course cake," I say, throat tight. "I'll be there in 20. 15, she says, and hangs up because she birthed me and thus outranks me. I throw on a shirt, then throw it off because the air feels wrong against fabric. I go with a tank top, cargo shorts, my beat-to-hell boots. I grab a med kit out of habit, laughable now, and a little tool roll because I'm me. On the path down to the boat, the island's little maintenance drones, saucer-sized puckheads with cameras, glide after me like worried fish. "Back to dock," I tell them. Routine sweep. They drift away, obedient. The solar array shivers with static and then steadies. I pat the nearest inverter. "Don't get dramatic. We've got company later." The boat starts like it owes me money. I gun it, slice across water so blue it looks fake. On the mainland dock, Mom and Dad already stand with Wendy, who is 5 feet everything and could beat God in a staring contest, and Bruce in a t-shirt that says "Eat the Rich" in gold lettering, which is very funny considering my bank account is exactly why we can all smile right now. "Happy birthday, idiot," Bruce yells as I come in hot. "Happy brain-melting energy day," I yell back. Then I tie up, hop out, and hug them so hard Wendy complains about bones. I breathe them in. The world is wobbling, but they are a constant. That has to anchor to something. Wendy pinches my cheek. 30. You look 12. "Thanks, Grandma. I moisturize with spite." Dad looks at my hands. "Your mother said you burned yourself." "Fixed," I say and wiggle my fingers, and then I don't show them more, because this is not a doc show and tell day. This is triage. The pier is chaos-flavored. People are crowding with that specific rhythm of, we're all fine until one person screams, and then we are not fine. A man is staring, stunned, at a crumpled car he lifted for someone stuck beneath. A teenager is making water bead into shapes in the air, eyebrows furrowed like concentration is currency. A woman sobs, her hands on a broken wrist that's unbreaking. Government loudspeakers bark something about calm and reporting to checkpoints. A drone zips overhead with a logo, and I mentally catalog camera angles I can avoid. "Home," I say. "Now, all of you." Danny, Mom begins. Please. I lower my voice. I think I got something. I don't know what it is yet. I don't want eyes on me until I understand it. Bruce's gaze sharpens. You got a gift? Don't call it that, I snap, softer than it sounds. Call it total adaptation. The name arrives fully formed, arrogant as hell. It feels right. That's what I'll call it. I add, testing it on my tongue. Total adaptation. What does that mean? Dad asks, eyes warm and worried. I burned myself and healed in minutes, I say. Feels like more under the hood, and I have a stupid feeling this is passive. Always on. Wendy snorts. You finally got the world to bend to your stubborn streak. Took long enough. We pile into the boat. I punch it. The engine sings. The water throws spray at my face, and I grin because speed is a love letter. We cut back to the island while the mainland starts to sizzle with the rumor of powers. On the island, I walk them through the systems. Part distraction, part prep. If the grid hiccups, here's the failsafe. If the comms die, here's the signal. If anyone comes uninvited, here's where we funnel them so they trip on my very legal surprises. Mom rolls her eyes at the perimeter drones like she doesn't love how safe it feels. Dad runs his hand along the rail I fabricated last month. He still checks my welds like I'm 10 with a hobby kit. It's a language of love I speak back by overbuilding everything. We settle in the big room with the ocean glass wall, and I make food because food makes people talk slower. I slice mango, char pineapple, fry eggs in butter and salt until the kitchen smells like my childhood kissed a vacation brochure. We eat. The news pours noise from the wall screen. Men in suits, women in lab coats, some poor bastard trying to pronounce phenomenology, while videos of impossible crap roll in the background. 40%, Bruce says around a mouthful. That number is fucking insane. Language, Mom says automatically, then shrugs. Actually, no. Today gets a pass. We watch. We wait. I feel hungry. Not normal hungry. Not I skipped a snack hungry. It's the hunger you feel after heavy squats when your body becomes a democratic council of cells voting unanimously to devour protein. It's a hum. A more. I stand, open the fridge, and then laugh because I am about to be an asshole to a steak. I pan-sear it, salt and pepper only, rest it, slice. I eat like a man polite to a sacrament. The hunger dips, then comes back, not as panic but as efficiency. The system wants fuel. Bulk season? Bruce teases. Shut up, I say cheerfully. Chewing. If I get jacked, I'm going to be insufferable. You're already insufferable, Wendy says and pats my knee. After lunch, I pull Mom aside. I want to test something. She narrows her eyes. You're not going to jump off the roof, are you? Jesus, no. I'm not stupid. I just want to see... Look, you were a nurse. You've seen wounds. Watch this. I hold out my forearm and drag a sanitized scalpel across it. Just a shallow kiss, enough to bead red. Mom flinches anyway. You little shit. Observation time, I say, grinning and slightly terrified. We both watch. Blood wells slows, clots, then the edges knit faster than they should. The pink fade begins immediately. Within 2 minutes, it's a faint line. Within 5, it's gone. Mom's mouth is a hard line. Do not show that to anyone else. Agreed. Also, fuck, she says, and then laughs almost hysterically. I said fuck. Your grandmother is rubbing off on me. Wendy calls from the couch. I heard that. I try push-ups. Not to be dramatic. Okay, a little dramatic. My usual 3 sets of 50 feel like warm-up. I do 100 without shaking, pause, blink. My joints feel smoother. My breath easier. Not unattached from effort, just translated. Like every rep deposits interest I never lose. Danny, Dad says carefully, what if your body is keeping everything you earn now? What if fatigue and decay aren't stealing it back at night? That's what it feels like, I admit. Like some bastard finally turned off the depreciation on muscle tissue. Bruce whistles. Total adaptation, huh? Big name for a big bitch. I laugh. Shut up and spot me later. The afternoon turns into a seminar. I write on the glass with a marker because I'm annoying like that. Observations. Burn heals in minutes. Cut heals in minutes. Energy demand increased. Hunger. Stamina up. Joint comfort up. No visible scarring. Hypothesis. Passive system optimizing for survival and progress. Stores training permanently. Counteracts injuries. Might halt aging. Jesus. Risks. Visibility. Exploitation. Governments. Jealous neighbors. Me turning into a cocky idiot. Already a risk. Mom points to that last item. You're not a god. Remember that. I'm an engineer, I say. Worse. News breaks the soundscape again. A government spokesperson uses the phrase temporary registration and cooperative testing, and I feel a volt of anger, not at safety, at ownership. 40% of the planet didn't ask to be interesting. Fuck their registry, Bruce says. We go gray. We go careful, Dad corrects. We help who we can. We keep our safe. I can do a lot if I can train without backsliding, I murmur. The thought is narcotic. Imagine running programs on this meat and never losing code. Imagine building load into bone. Imagine eating my way from 55 kilos to something substantial without turning into a bloated mess. 200 kilos of athletic muscle. Laughable yesterday, not crazy today. I'm going to need a bigger shirt budget, I add, and Mom rolls her eyes so hard they squeak. Evening leans in. The ocean light goes gold. We walk the perimeter because I always do. Barefoot on warm stone, I feel the island's heartbeat. Battery banks burring like filters, whispering as they chew microplastics and shit out virtue. Drones buzzing their messy little halos. The cameras aren't just lenses. They're eyes, I soldered myself. A string of pearls around my home's throat. I built this to survive storms, I tell Dad quietly as we look at the horizon. I didn't plan for superpowers. He smiles. Storms take different forms. Wendy squeezes my hand. You make a heaven for your people. That's what you said as a teenager when you were a ridiculous little stick with big eyes. Looks like the world just handed you a new set of tools. Don't stab yourself with them. Night comes wrong. Not bad, just taut. The planet is a stage, and everyone is realizing the floor might spring beneath them if they jump. I tuck everyone into guest rooms like I'm a hotelier with boundary issues. The island goes quiet, that big cat settling again, and I go back to the workshop because of course I do. I glove up, I lift the Exo's weighted bucket. 100 kilos. 110, 120. The servos whine but hold. My forearm doesn't shake. My shoulder sings, but not like it used to. It sings like a muscle that understands the lyrics now. Total adaptation, I whisper, absurdly fond of my own arrogance. If you're real, we're gonna have a hell of a time. I weld. I burn myself, tiny deliberate errors, and heal. I log times. I adjust the glove's feedback until it feels like an extension of intent. I test fine motor control, threading a bolt through a trembling wire. My hand is steadier than at noon. Part of that is practice. Part of it is my body writing, "We learned this in ink instead of pencil." Around midnight, the hunger comes back like a tide. I eat again, cottage cheese, nuts, a leftover chicken leg, a small mountain of rice, and the itch subsides. I stand in the mirror. Still me. Still 55 kilos. But under the skin, the engine purrs like it found a turbo. I want to punch something. I also want to hug everyone I love until they complain. I settle for a heavy bag in the corner. I tape my hands, square up, and throw combinations until the bag swings like a conversation. My breath doesn't rag it out at 2 minutes. It flows. My shoulders heat, then settle, then ask for more. The part of me that dreams about immortality, about building a paradise where death can't collect rent from the people I love, laughs a little wild laugh. I stop before I wreck my wrists out of excitement. I peel tape. My knuckles are red. They fade. Of course they do. I shower. The water hammers my skin and I swear at it because that's how I say thank you sometimes. I towel off and look out at the dark water where the mainland sleeps like a question mark. The world is on fire. Not flames, not yet, but the dry crackle before a spark catches. 40% with something weird in them. 60% with nothing but fear or envy or relief. Governments with clipboards. Opportunists with sermons. Heroes and villains. No, scratch those words. They drag baggage. People making choices. Me? I have an island, a family, a workshop, a hunger, a hypothesis, and a secret. Happy birthday, Danny, I tell the glass. Don't fuck it up. The glass is very supportive. I crawl into bed as the first emergency sirens on the mainland rise, distant as whale song. I stare at the ceiling and see diagrams. Armor that isn't armor, exos that hug nerves without caging spirit. Training protocols that exploit my new permanence without breaking the meat while the meat still matters. Diet plans that are basically eat like a polite bear. Security layers that redirect attention to decoys. Mock-ups for false negatives on medical scans in case someone gets curious. A conversation template for when Bruce inevitably tries to get me to test if I can drink poison. I'm not going to drink poison. Probably. I text Mom. Doors locked. Systems green. Love you. She texts back immediately because she's an insomniac ninja. Happy 30, baby. You were born stubborn. Now you're dangerous. Be kind. I'm always kind, I whisper. Unless you're an asshole. My phone buzzes one last time. Unknown number. I don't pick up. The voicemail transcription flashes. Mr. Danny, this is a courtesy call from Click. Truncated, they'll try again. I'm not answering tonight. The island breathes. So do I. I'm not sleeping, not really. I'm laying still while my body writes new footnotes in a language I'll have to learn. I promise myself I'll keep it secret. I promise myself I'll use it like a scalpel, not a hammer. I promise myself I'll build a heaven and let the monsters choke on clouds. Morning will come with demands. Training, planning, new rules, and food. So much goddamn food. For now, I hold my palm up to the moonlight and watch perfect skin reflect a future that just got a lot more interesting. Total adaptation, I murmur into the dark. Let's see what you can really do. The next 5 days tasted like iron and battery acid. Morning to night, I turned my island into a polite fortress, and my body into a problem. I didn't rush. Total adaptation doesn't bargain with impatience, but I didn't waste a second either. I woke up hungry, ate like a grateful wolf, lifted until the edges of my vision sparkled, then ate again while CAD models rendered and drones stitched aluminum ribs into places nosy people would hate. Day 1 was deadlifts and doors. I pulled a bare bar to warm up, then slapped on plates until the knurling felt like it was grinding secrets into my palms. 200 kilos moved like a suggestion. 250 made my hamstrings sing gospel. 300 used to be a fantasy I told myself at 2 a.m. when I was high on ambition and YouTube hype. I pulled it for triples, then fives, then told my past self to take a seat and brought the bar to 400. Just to be a cocky birthday bastard, only to feel my low back whisper, "Careful, idiot." I racked it. Not because I couldn't, because total adaptation rewards honesty more than ego, and I didn't want to teach my tissue the wrong lesson. Between sets, I welded a second layer into the gate frames, a honeycomb that looks like art until it grabs you by the jacket and asks for ID. The dock approach got a new, polite channel, a funnel where visiting boats would naturally drift between 2 pylons studded with cameras, LiDAR, and a couple of very legal, very boring deterrents that aren't mines. Mom, calm down, but would make aggressive people feel suddenly very interested in turning around. Day 2 was bench press and blind spots. I used to bench my body weight for reps and be proud. Now the plates kept climbing and my elbows felt correct. It's not that it didn't cost anything. It's that the cost stopped being stolen by the night. I pressed, paused, pressed again, held the lockout and breathed there because I could, because the bar didn't own me. 160, 180, 200. The bar shook. I didn't. I re-racked with that quiet buzz you get when your nervous system claps politely and says, "Good form, champ." Then I climbed the roofs barefoot, crawled along parapets in the heat, and mapped every angle a drone couldn't see. I sketched arcs on glass, moved a camera 10 centimeters, gained 20 meters of coverage. It's the kind of work that looks like nothing and becomes everything. I doubled the drone patrols, made them fly lazier, like gulls. Predators are obvious, sheep with knives aren't. Day 3 was squats and signal. Heavy-weighted squats strip you down to your VO2 max and your honesty. I put the bar on my back and sat into it like I was praying to a god I don't believe in. Depth, drive, rack, repeat. The island floor shivered under each rep, and my quads wrote a sonnet in lactic acid. The reps felt cleaner every set. My breath recovered faster every minute. If adaptation is a bank, I was making obscene deposits. Between sets, I rerouted external comms. If anyone pinged my island's public channel, they'd get a cheerful automated concierge, and if anyone government-flavored tried to peel back my network, they'd fall into a sandbox that looked like 2010. Cute, slow, and useless. I put the real traffic on narrow beams that skimmed the water and hand-shook with hardware I'd hidden on 2 innocent barnacle-kissed buoys a kilometer away. It felt petty. It felt right. Day 4 was bicep curls and bodies. Yes, curls. Laugh. I sat on a bench, picked up dumbbells, and curled while watching the news. Because vanity is a love language, and, surprise, curl strength matters when you're manhandling awkward shit that wants to escape your grip. Sets of 12, then 10, then 8, pyramiding up until the head of the dumbbell pressed a smiley face into my callus. Veins showed up like a tourist bus, and I tried not to take 50 selfies like a clown. I took 3. For science. In the afternoon, I ate like a vacuum cleaner. Steaks, rice, oily fish, nuts, eggs, cottage cheese, and fruit. A river of water. My weight ticked up 59 kilos by evening, without fuzz. Muscle bellies felt fuller. Tendons felt like braided cable. The mirror didn't show a monster. It showed a blueprint taking shape. Day 5 was integration. I ran a circuit. Deadlifts, bench, squats, curls, farmer's carries with plates pinched and traps screaming, sled pushes that made the turf whisper betrayal. Between rounds, I sent drones to lay flexible barriers in the mangroves, a living net that would make it very annoying to sneak through my back fence. I installed a doorbell at the outer dock, a slim column with a camera, a mic, and an attitude. If you show up unannounced, you talk to the door first. If you're polite, I might be polite back. If you're not, the door speaks all my rude languages. Through it all, the news mutated. At first, it was patchwork. Governments doing pressers, scientists sweating on TV, influencers trying to monetize telekinesis. By day 3, the vocabulary shifted. Words like coordination, global safety framework, and the kind of beige phrases people use when they're building a cage and want you to thank them for the decor. By day 4, a name stuck. New Terra. Not a country. A banner. Coalition of coalitions. A logo in cool blues and clean fonts. We're all one family now. Spare me. On the morning of day 5, while I was curling like a vain gremlin, the breaking chyron mutated into update, and a woman with a haircut like a decision addressed the world. Effective immediately, she said, calm like steel. All pre-existing national governments have agreed to dissolve into the interim global authority of New Terra. This is a necessary step to ensure equitable management of the void energy event and the safety of all civilians. Transition compacts have been signed. Military forces are now under unified command. We are one world, acting together. I sat there, dumbbells on my thighs, and said out loud, "The fuck you are?" Mom looked up from her crossword. Language. Mom, they just deleted borders on live TV. She pursed her lips. Sounds tidy, which means it isn't, the woman continued. New Terra will be conducting universal ability assessments using a scientifically validated, 100% accurate protocol. These tests are minimally invasive, free, and will allow us to allocate resources appropriately. You will be contacted by your local assessment unit in the coming days. Please cooperate. Together, we can build a safer, fairer New Terra. Bruce, sprawled upside down on the couch like a large, opinionated cat, snorted. 100% accurate? Sure, and my ass is a weather station. Dad frowned at the screen. They're moving fast. Too fast, I said. Nothing that big moves this clean without cutting bones. Wendy sipped her tea. Let them do their theater. We'll clap from behind the curtains. 2 hours later, I clicked the TV off to give my blood pressure a mercy minute. And someone knocked on my door. Not the outer dock's polite ping. Not the chime on the gate. A knuckles-on-wood knock like we were in a suburb and they brought brownies. I looked at Mom. Mom looked at me. Bruce rolled off the couch like a slinky. Dad stood spine straight. Wendy didn't move at all, which is how you know she was paying attention. Anyone else hear the part where I said outer doorbell? I muttered, and walked to the entryway with a smile I learned from wolves. I opened the door. They'd come by boat. One of mine logged the wake and the registration a minute before the knock, and there were 6 of them. 2 in soft armor with the new blue logo, jawlines for days. 1 medic-y type with a white armband and a tablet. 1 tech who couldn't decide whether to look at my face or my drones. 1 woman in a slate-gray jacket with a badge clipped just so. She had the haircut from TV, but on a budget. And 1 guy at the back with that specific posture that says, I'm the one who hits people if they don't agree with clipboards. Every team has that guy. Good afternoon, Slate Jacket said. Warm like a dentist. Mr. Danny? It's Danny, I said evenly. Not Mr. Anything, and you're on private property without an appointment. We rang, she said, like she wasn't ignoring the only doorbell that matters. We're with New Terra's local assessment unit. We're conducting ability tests. It'll be quick. You walked past 2 signs that say authorized entry only. I didn't raise my voice. I just let the island speak through me. That makes this trespassing. Do you need a dictionary or a map? Her smile didn't move. Emergency protocols supersede private restrictions. Section. Don't you fucking section me on my own step, I said, the heat in my chest blooming like a polite grenade. We can talk, but you don't get to just rush up on my family like you're selling cable. One of the jawlines shifted his weight like he wanted to disagree with my face. I tilted my head just enough that he could see the little cameras set into the eaves and the turrets that are totally bird feeders, officer. He resettled. Good man. Slate Jacket did the half-step of someone rehearsing patience. We don't want trouble, Danny. The protocol is simple. It's a quick scan and a couple of biometric samples. Cheek swab, fingertip sensor. It's 100% accurate. We'll be on our way. 100%? I echoed. What do you do with 100.1? She didn't like that. False positives and negatives are mathematically impossible with this test. We've peer-reviewed the protocol. Peer-reviewed in 4 days, I said dryly. You must have very fast peers. They're very motivated, the medic piped in, which is either brave or dumb. Jury's out. Behind me, Mom's voice drifted from the hall, calm and sharp. Ask for identification. I looked back at Slate Jacket. IDs. Names. And the part where you apologize for barging in goes first. Jawline number one's jawline flexed, but Slate Jacket, credit where it's due, pulled a little card from her jacket and held it up. Assessment Lead Mara Ellis. This is Tech Officer Rafa Saito, Medic Carla Nguyen, Security Officers Silva and Klein, and Liaison Tom Perez. Welcome to my house, Mara, I said. You've now said hello like a human. We can continue. She nodded once. We're on a clock, Danny. Then you should have used the doorbell, I said, and let her feel that I meant the lowercase one and the uppercase one. But fine, you can test us. Outside, on the patio. No one goes further in. No one touches any equipment. You're recorded. Any deviation and you swim home without your clipboards. Klein, the hitter, opened his mouth. Wendy's voice floated from the living room like a knife wrapped in lace. Don't be rude to my grandson in his own home, dear. It's unattractive. Klein swallowed whatever heroic thing wanted to die in his throat. Yes, ma'am. We moved to the patio with the ocean humming approval. I poured water because I was raised well, and also because dehydrated people make mistakes. The new Terra crew set up their little altar, a sleek black case with sterile vials, a tablet with a pulsing blue circle, a wand that looked like it wanted to be a lightsaber when it grew up. Mara glanced around. You've got quite the setup. You've got quite the audacity, I said pleasantly. Let's play nice. Mom, Dad, Grandma, Bruce, I called. Company wants to poke our cheeks. They joined me. Mom put on the smile she used for incompetent doctors. Dad's face was neutral in a way that made Marines sit up straighter. Bruce bounced on his heels, vibrating with the kind of chaotic energy that frightens clipboards. Wendy brought her tea like a queen accepting tribute. Carla, the medic, explained the procedure, voice simple and soft. We'll swab the inside of your cheek. Then we'll hold this sensor against your fingertip for 30 seconds. The wand will do a non-ionizing field scan, completely safe. The algorithm tracks resonance markers associated with void energy expression. If you're a positive, you'll see a bloom. If not, the readout stays flat. Like Mara said, it's very accurate. Do you keep our DNA? Mom asked, sweet as bleach. Carla flushed. No. The swab's a conductivity medium only. It gets denatured in the process. We don't store it. Rafa, the tech, cleared his throat. All data is... Say anonymous and I'll throw you in the ocean, I said. He shut his mouth. Smart boy. Who first? Mara asked. Me, I said. If anything explodes, I'm pre-crispened. I sat. Carla snapped on gloves with a snap like punctuation, swabbed the inside of my cheek. The wand hummed as she hovered it near my head. Rafa's tablet pulsed, that blue circle expanding and contracting like a breath. I put my fingertip on the sensor. For a heartbeat, I felt nothing. No prickling, no heat, no tug. If anything, there was a soft, weird absence, like a breeze detouring around a stone. Rafa's tablet traced a clean line. Flat. Flat. He frowned, slid his thumb on the edge, checked a second panel. Mara's eyes tracked the numbers. The blue circle did its meditative inhale-exhale, utterly unimpressed with me. Result? I asked. Light as air. Ordinary, Rafa said, a little surprised. Civilians, Mara adjusted, like the word ordinary offended a theology. No ability markers. I blinked at the ocean for the sheer relief of not needing to fake relief. Total adaptation didn't twitch. It didn't pose for the camera. It didn't whisper from under my skin. It stayed exactly what it is, mine. Good. I said, smiling with teeth. Next. Mom went. Flat. Dad. Flat. Bruce, who did jazz hands at the wand. Flat. Wendy, who glared at the sensor as if it might try to steal a story from her bloodstream. Flat. Carla's shoulders eased. Rafa's posture softened. Mara's mouth did the little half-smile of a bureaucrat who doesn't have to write a special report. "Thank you for your cooperation," Mara said. "You're all registered as civilians. If you encounter anyone exhibiting abilities or you experience new symptoms..." "Symptoms," Bruce repeated, rolling the word like gum. "Cute." "Please contact your local assessment unit," Mara finished, trained to ignore hecklers. "You may also be contacted about community support roles." "Fantastic," I said. "While we're doing gratitude, say we're sorry for skipping my doc procedures." She held my gaze for a breath. "We're sorry." "Again," I said, "because I am, at core, an unrepentant gremlin." She looked at my cameras, then back at me. "We're sorry. We're sorry for entering your property without using your posted protocol, Danny. The schedule is tight. That's not an excuse." "Apology accepted," I said, "because it cost me nothing and bought me a little respect. Next time ring the bell, both of them." Klein's eyes did another little survey of my eaves. "What's in the birdhouses?" "Birds," I said, "and consequences." Mara almost smiled. "We'll be on our way. Genuinely. Thank you. These first weeks are delicate." "Do your job," I said. "Do it without turning into a church." She nodded, gathered her crew with the quiet clicks of professionals, and they left the way they came, down the path, across my polite funnel, into their neat little boat, back into the humbling blue. We stood on the patio while their wake unraveled. Bruce let out a breath like a deflating airbed. "Holy shit." Mom squeezed my arm. "Language." "Mom, even you said fuck this week," he shot back. She pretended not to hear. Dad watched the horizon. "You think their test really catches everything?" "No," I said. "I think it catches what they can see. I think my thing doesn't present the way they expect. Or maybe it presents exactly the way a clever bastard would want it to. Quiet." Wendy laughed. "Bright and sharp. Your power is not making a sound until it decides to sing. It suits you." I looked at my hand. The palm that burned and unburned on day 0 was just skin. But under it, the engine purred like a cat on a sunlit windowsill. I felt strong, not just in a mirror way, but in that weird, deeply internal way, like if you peeled back layers, you'd find systems that had learned how to want. "New Terra's test says we're civilians," I said, savoring the word like a joke only I got. "Good. Let them file us under boring." Bruce grinned. "You look like you just got away with stealing Christmas." "I look like a man who likes his privacy," I said, and clapped his shoulder a little too hard. He winced, then grinned wider. "Sorry. Strong guy tax." He punched my arm. "Ow. Brick." We went inside. I turned the TV back on and watched the world applaud its new top-down miracle. Flags got folded into a single logo. Old anthems quieted under a new jingle. They rolled footage of smiling children and helpful medics and tidy lines of people being assessed. It was all very tidy. Tidy is the liar that stands closest to truth. Mom made dinner. I ate like a dragon with manners. After I walked the perimeter again, this time slow, touching stone, steel, glass, leaf. The island felt satisfied. The systems hummed in a chord I recognized. Ready enough for now. I'd add more layers tomorrow. That's who I am. But for tonight, the new fences and the old ocean were friends. Back in the workshop, I logged my lifts. I weighed in at 66 kilos, 11 up in 5 days, and I didn't look like a water balloon. I flexed in the mirror like a clown because I am occasionally 12. Veins like little rivers, shoulders rounding, traps peaking like shy mountains. The scale is just a number. The grin was the metric. I sat with the exo hand and moved its fingers in time with mine. I whispered to the glove and it whispered back. I imagined 1,000 variations of me lifting, running, building, not decaying. I imagined New Terra's perfect test and smiled like a secret. "Ordinary civilians," I said to the room, and the room tried very hard not to laugh. I killed the lights and paused at the door. The sea breathed. Somewhere on the mainland, a siren wrote a short story in G minor. Above me, the cameras kept their patient vigil. Inside me, the thing that belongs to me alone kept doing its quiet, shameless work, copying every rep, memorizing every angle, filing it under forever. "Good job today," I told the island. "Good job, me." I went to bed happy in a way I don't trust but will take, for now. Civilians. Secret safe. Family clear. Fortress waking up. body writing new rules without asking permission. New Terra can have its blue logo, its doctrinarian scripts, and its 100% bullshit confidence. They can have their lines, their clipboards, their polite trespasses. I'll keep my island. I'll keep my people. I'll keep my mouth shut. And I'll keep getting stronger.